What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Darkatron Prime. We're gonna be sharing with you guys a Beelzemon deck list. Overall, I'm having much success with the list so far. I've only lost. I played on the Guy Force Wintermat tournament. I only lost one game, and I ended up ranking out 5th. The deck is overall playing very, very well, especially topping at places like Knowhere Toys and Comics and Pro Play Games locals. With actual real ease, the deck is overall playing kind of like a. I built it to play more into the Rookie Rush factor of the deck with the EX2 Beelzemons, and then just going from there. You're also able to turbo in slowly, but it's not as required. I was mainly looking at Bt-12 lists, and I kind of just jumped off them a little bit until we get those cards. Right now, I'm just kind of playing a game where I am trying to get the most amount of attacks with the least amount of cost. So let's just go ahead and jump into the video. Pagumon is going to be our babies. We're going to be running 4. I prefer this over the Yamon because on your opponent's turn, if your opponent decides to pop a Digimon that has a Pagumon under it, it kind of makes them second guess their decision. If you hit a trigger like a Gain of Memory or play Rivals or even play an Hitmon. The biggest thing about the deck is that the mill to hit 20 is actually really fast, because we're only dealing with the lower end stuff, and only like on certain matchups you have to turbo out into like a Beelzemon. So we're gonna be running 4 EX2 Hitmons. Every time you trash it from your deck, you can trash 3 more. That's all we care about for this Digimon. We never really try to play it out. We usually try to keep it in hand for the Ayamako to set on top. But it's a really strong card. It overall does really well, and sometimes you need to search out an Ayamako for those weird positions. It helps out a lot. Or a Beelzemon to stack on your deck to play a rookie. So this is the bread and butter of the deck, which is going to be this ST14 Hitmon. The ST14 Hitmon is when attacking, if you have 20 or more in trash, you can warp into a Beelzemon. This is a reason why we don't really need to turbo out into like a level 4, and then a level 5, and then a level 6. This just cuts through it. You make sure you get your 20 in trash as fast as you can, and this effect is just live by like turn 2 or 3, depending on how your plays go. By turn 3 or 4, I'm sorry. Then we're going to be running Hitmon from BT2. This is the On Deletion Mill 3. This is overall one of the stronger starting cards that you want to see in your hand, as you're able to Digivolve over the Pagumon. Yeah, you're able to Digivolve over the Pagumon, and then you want to make sure it dies, so you mill 5 instead of milling 3. Something else that I've noticed is that you can always just put this out in the front while playing a Digimon like this one in the back, and it's always safe. So then we're going to be jumping into our Demi-Devis. So the Demi-Devi on play, trash 2. Why we play this over Candlemon is because it has an evil in its traits, and you're able to search it off Ayamako. So if you ever need a rookie and you're just bricked up, you can always just pick out you can always pick it out with Ayamako. It also helps with proccing the effects of Beelzemon or Beelstar if you don't have anything that trashes on board, because we don't run the Yamon, but I feel like this is a little bit more consistent as you're able to drop it mill 2, and that potential mill 2 can gain your memory. You can play Hitmon or even pop a Digimon. We tried out the one of Loemon. I didn't really need it, and most of the time you want to use your Ayamakos to keep turn. So there was only one scenario where I actually needed to use it, but I kind of just didn't. I ignored it, and I ended up losing the game. But it's a good of just hybrid for game, generic stuff. I was actually looking for the Kaiser Loemon, but I don't have it, so I just used this for the tournament. Then we run 4 Witchmons. Witchmons is kind of busted with this deck, as you're able to punish your opponent for playing a rookie to search or playing a rookie to try to memory block you, you're able to Digivolve over the starter deck Hitmon to pop a rookie after milling. You're also able to make it a 1 cost with Iron Mako, and then it's a possible like free to +1. I'm sorry, it costs 1 to +1. Yeah, so this card has turbos out your deck a lot. So most of the turns you're going to be starting is rookie in the back, rookie in the front. If your opponent has a rookie, you can always punish them by digivolving this one in the front with the Witchmon. And then if they don't have a rookie, you kind of just want to play this in the front and then this in the back. The Wizardmon's at 4. I don't necessarily digivolve into him. I mainly just use him for like that. Oh, I don't have another champion, but I'll go ahead and digivolve into you to stack, I guess. I mainly just use him for the 4 of gain of memory, and just every now and then turbo. Other than that, he's okay. He does wonders for the deck. You want to be playing him at 4 because every time you mill him, you gain a memory, and you don't know when that can come in handy or just throw your opponent off completely or put you forward. So then we play 2 Ginkaku promotes. Why we play 2? It's actually stronger than the hybrid in my opinion, because we run 3 X2 Beelzemons. So once we mill them, we're able to play an Itmon that's not able to attack. So you want to get the full value of that Itmon the same turn before they pop it, because there's just so much rookie hate. You digivolve over that for 2, and then you just swing again. So you get 3 attacks by turn 1. If you do just raise, swing, swing, and then let's say you play an Itmon, digivolve promote, swing again. And if it doesn't die, that's amazing. If you have a level 5, you can just do the level 5 just to make it a safer play. Or you could just drop another body and make this a 6k body on board. It's even good in trash because you're able to add it back with rivals or with calling. So you can always just promote for game. There's moments where I have had Beelzemon just gaming like 5 memory off the mills and stuff, and it probably plays an Hitmon. I'm just like, okay, that Hitmon is useless until I have a promote, and then that promote just does the extra check. And you don't really have to waste an Iron Mako for it, which is pretty good. And you're also able to digivolve over a Wizardmon to swing, proc when attacking, put something on top, or yeah, that's the gist of that. Then we're going into Balmon. This Balmon, I'm playing around with the ratios. I really like it at 2. I don't think it needs to be at 3. It's a really strong card. It's basically on when digivolving mill 3. Mill 3, and then on deletion, if you have 10 or more in trash, this Digimon gains play Beelzemon from your trash until the end of your opponent's turn, right? It doesn't sound that big on paper, but on in practice it's amazing. So your normal plays would be like these 2 rookies, you raise this out, you swing, you mill, that's fine. You digivolve Witchmon, so you mill 3. Digivolve Witchmon over here, you mill 3 more, and then you digivolve Balmon, and then you mill 3 more on digivolve. And you can pass turn like that. It's safe, and you already have his effect active if you set up a Beelzemon in trash. That's not including all the other Digimon that you've been playing with the Beelzemon, or the memory you're gaining with the Deathslinger and the Wizard. But this card's overall strong. You can also get the 2k, which has come up in some games, where you're able to swing 9k with this body because of Witchmon. It gets the DP. And when you're swinging at security with Beelzemon, it makes it like 16k. And then this one makes it 15k. The Balmon, overall, really strong card. I like this one a little bit more because your opponent wants to avoid your stack most of the time. Oh, I forgot. This Balmon also comes up handy with, let's say you end your turn. Both Balmons come in handy when you end your turn and your opponent decides to pop your Balmon. You can play this Beelzemon from your trash and then proc Pogymon's effect afterwards, milling 2 more and then gaining memory on your opponent's turn, which is huge. You're at least a minimum with that play gaining 1 memory on your opponent's turn, and then put them in a weirder position to play Digimon or even passing them turn. You're getting rid of the Balmon. The second Balmon, I like this one better. For pressure wise, I don't really care about digivolving up to Mega, in most scenarios, so I'm just swinging with Balmon, consistently milling 3 until they answer this body or it dies in security, and then I play Beelzemon. It's just a safe floater on board always. Then we jump into our megas. We can do our options. Our options are going to be 4 Death Slingers. Honestly, a really strong card. It's probably the strongest removal for purple. The only thing it cannot really touch is Mother D Reaper, but it's able to basically catch people off guard in security, being able to pop a level 4, and then for every 10 in trash, you add a level, and then every time you mill it, you gain a memory. We try to maximize on the gaining the memory because it does help. Playing 8 of these can boost up your plays and make your plays a little bit faster. You don't really rely on it, but you want to see it just in case. This card can also pop up to level 6 to 7, depending on how many you have in trash. Really strong card for 4. I don't think I want to bump it down at all. I've been seeing it quite a lot, especially how fast you go through your deck. Even in hand, it's pretty strong because you're able to stack it with Ayamako, or you're able to play it out for 4 and pop a body that might have been blocking your way from game. We play 3 Rivals Barrage. I was playing it at 4, but then I realized that it's a 7 cost option, and unfortunately, it's not as free. It doesn't feel as free as Death Slinger, but it does come in handy at 3. I don't think you see it as much, but when you mill it, it's great. You try to use them correctly. Try not to just drop it all the time, but it's a 7 cost remove of the biggest body on board. So it's always good. It activates the security the same way, and then it has a delay effect when you mill it, which is amazing. I think this card comes in handy a lot because since we're running so few level 5s, it kind of puts you in that position where you're able to pop this, grab the level 5 that you needed without having to take up space in the deck for the level 5s, considering that you're always going to be wanting to warp. Or you can even add the warping Itmon, put it in the back, and then just relax there. You're able to add Blast Mode. If you mill Blast Mode, you're able to add BL-Star. Great card. I really recommend it around 3 or 4, but that's just me. I dropped this card down to 2. I like Miss Memory Boost. I think it does a lot for the deck if you don't draw 2 rookies turn 1. As you're able to go into a level 5 practically almost always with this card on board, and then you're able to do your level 6 plays pretty easily as well. It also gives you the memory you need for promote at times, and it puts you in a good position, and that's mainly what you want to be. And you don't want to be short. It fills up your trash, and it gives you an extra card in hand as well. So yeah, you can even use a Miss Memory Boost, trash 2 cards that gain you memory, and this card was a 1 cost, gain 2 memory. When you want it. Let's see here. Then we play 1 of Calling. Calling is a really strong card. I tried to play without it, and I was just... If you don't see your Rivals Barrage, this is a card I took out Rivals Barrage for. If you don't see the Rivals Barrage in your mills, it feels bad. This card is a force play Rivals Barrage. One of the big things I noticed that you could do as well is you can just pop your Beelzemon Blast Mode after doing that whole like crazy effects, and then just add it back to hand. Add the Itmon back to hand and just basically reload. Or you can even add it back a BL-Star. BL-Star is probably one of the bigger cards in the deck. I like running it at 1. I don't think it needs to be at 2, but it is a really strong card, and I think at 1 it just does everything it needs to do. Alright, so we jump into Tamers. We run 3 Ayamakos. 3 Ayamakos, strongest card in the deck. I think this is the card that bumps up Beelzemon to tier 1. Because if you're able to stack your deck, you're able to take out that random factor to it, and you're able to manipulate the game to your favor, especially with cards like Beelstar that mill on your turn, and on your opponent's turn. being able to stack cards that gain you memory, being able to stack cards that get you cards back to your hand, or even to stack cards to play a Digimon for free. This card is absolutely, I think, a little too strong at times. I played at 3 because it's a little comfortable there. There's moments where I just have an Ayamako and I'm not able to play because my opponent's putting on pressure and I just have to answer the pressure before I fall too behind. Another thing is that you don't want to rely on Tamers too much in decks because there is Black or Greymon and they will just pop it by using Hades Force, which is kind of bad, but really strong card. I played at 3, Hidden Security. It's free. It's super free. And then if you just play it out your hand, you also get to add anything from this deck, except Promote and Knowhere. That's it. Oh, and the options. One big thing about Rivals, you're able to add back the Ayamako, so I never saw a reason to run more than 3, is because you kind of have that recursion with Rivals Barrage. Alright, so now we jump into our level 6s. We run 1 BL start. It does everything it needs to do. It's a really strong, I'm gonna set up in front of you type card. It's because you're able to make it a floater with the Balmon, and even if it doesn't become a floater, if your opponent decides to attack, you're able to play a Digimon with Rush. So it's once per turn, all turns. So you're able to activate it, play it on when you mill a card. And every time your opponent attacks, you also mill a card. So you can mill Memory Gain, you can mill a Disruptor, like just any possible Disruptor, or you can even mill your Rival's Barrage to set you up for next turn for game. Really strong card. I want to fit it in at 2, but honestly, I feel like with Rival's Barrage and Calling, it does what it needs to do. Since I'm not turboing out as often, it kind of helps to see it less. If I really need to see it, I recommend dropping probably a Lowemon or a Promote to BL Star, but so far it's been working out 1. I don't think you really need more than 1, even though it's a really strong card. You're also able to proc it with cards like Miss Memory Boost and Demi Devi, so you're always getting that card. You always want to try to get that out of this card. So we're going to be running 3 EX2 Beelzemons. The reason why I run 3 is because, honestly, I just like abusing the effect of just milling it. Milling it, being able to play a rookie to get that extra swing is huge. You're also able to set up this Itmon to put pressure. You're also able to set up this Itmon to pop a level 3 that's blocking your way. I've started so many turns where I've milled 2 to 3 of these things in turn 1 or 2, and it puts your opponent in a position where they have to enter your board before they do their own plays. This card's really strong. It puts out more potential mills, and I don't see a reason to run less of it, so I am keeping it at 3 at the moment. Then we run 2 of the game-winning Beelzemons. I don't think you need 3. Again, between Rivals, Ayamako, Itmon, you search it. You also are able to add it back to your hand if you mill it. And most of the time you just want it in trash for this effect. But you're also able just to turbo out if you just drew it into the Digivolving over a Balmon. But yeah, that is our level 6s. Then we run a 1 level 7. I think this deck is really strong with 1-ups, honestly. This deck does 1-ups really strong because you're able to reoccur them consistently with Rival's Barrage, with Calling, and you're also able to search this out with Itmon. So this card, restanding, giving you that 2 extra checks or 1 extra check depending on your board, and just being I think a horror honestly to deal with for certain matchups. Like I was able to turbo out into this, keep turn, swing, keep turn, gain a memory, then gain an extra memory, and then Digivolve over this for 1, and it was just 2 extra checks, and then I milled it on, so I just promoted for a game, and they didn't see it coming at all. They didn't think I was gonna check 4 checks in one game, hit 5 times in 1 game. But you're able to do a lot with this deck. You're able to manipulate your situations. You want to be dealing with what you have in hand first. Gaining memory is just like mills and stuff like that come with the deck naturally, so you don't really focus on it. You don't revolve your plays around it. You just kind of just say, oh, like I just benefited. Let me see if I can do more type plays. But yeah, these are the cards that I'm currently playing. We played against 2 Mother D Reapers, and we didn't realize how hard that matchup is. We won 1 of the 2 games, and then we lost the second one 2-0. But I want to kind of just add 2 cards between Mother D Reaper and Cross. Because we didn't have an issue with Black War Greymon at all, actually. You're able to outdo them in attacks. They always have that one turn where they just do 3 checks and it would just sit there. But, yeah. What are 2 cards we're going to be adding, I think, honestly, for the Mother D Reaper matchup, and like just a late game matchup where you don't want to mill yourself out, but you want to get rid of security, is Bagra. Bagra doing a lot against D Reaper as they're able to put the Gatekeeper under their any of their other cards, like their Searcher or their Blocker or their Jerry, and just milling a security off it. Whenever they add a security, a source onto the Digimon, they're going to be losing another security, and this is once per turn, but it does a lot for the deck to be able to punish the player for trying to do their plays. And then I think we only run 1 because it is addable by rivals. It's we're not really a turbo deck, so we're able to add it with Calling. We're able to add it with Ayamako. We get the DP gain for Witchmon. We get the DP gain for Balmon. So the card is really strong in the deck, oddly enough. I'm not really big on the turbo side of the deck, but playing this at 1, just in case something comes up and you're able to get rid of 2 Digimon, is pretty huge already. There's a lot of times where you just swing Balmon, you survive, you gain 2 memory, and you're at 4 or 5, and you're just like, okay, what do I do now? You just you can force the Bagramon, or you can force the Bagramon on top of this Balmon and then just make it a safe Bagramon. If they want to get rid of it, they have to play it, they're gonna have to deal with the Beelzemon, which is even bigger. If your opponent doesn't really play into this and you want to see some type of benefit, it's still a really good card. As you swing with this Balmon, you survive. You wanted it to die, but it didn't die. You Digivolve Bagra for 5, and then you put your opponent to however much. You either rip a card from their hand or you tuck something under another Digimon, which is bigger than, honestly, any type of removal in the game. Then you also burn a security, and if they decide to Digivolve on their turn, they burn a second security. So it's kind of like going into Beelzemon in a safer way, but I want to kind of just play with it. The 1 of Psychomon is honestly for the D Reaper matchup. I don't think you need more than 1. As long as you see 1, you're able to keep those Gatekeepers away, and then Bagra's over here just tucking stuff under. If you ever feel like you're in a position where you think this Bagra's not enough, you can honestly just keep doing your plays, and then this Bagramon will eventually just die from the Calling. I think that's the only thing we have to pop it, really. Well, the only thing we really have to pop it is the Calling, but it does put in that early game pressure against Mother D Reaper, or if they hit one in security, it just kind of punishes their Gatekeeper for coming out. But yeah, this is the deck so far. Let me know what you guys think. Remember to like and subscribe, and we brick by nature.